The story goes that when a brilliant doctor leaves a developing nation to come to America, their home country is left poorer, sicker, and emptier. But in the next few minutes, we're going to follow the money and the data to uncover why that logic is backward. We need to answer 3 questions that change everything. First, does the mere chance of a U.S. visa act like a lottery ticket that creates more experts than it takes? Second, can a single migrant build a trust bridge that does more for their country than foreign aid? And finally, why does the microchip in your phone prove that losing talent is actually the only way to keep it? Just a quick reminder, if you appreciate this in-depth content, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps us bring you more. Now, on with the story. Let's start before anyone even packs a suitcase. The biggest flaw in the brain drain theory is that it assumes the number of skilled people in a poor country is fixed, like a pie that gets smaller every time someone takes a slice. But that is not how human ambition works. Economist Oded Stark shattered this idea with something called the prospect theory. Think of a U.S. visa like a winning lottery ticket. The prize is a salary that might be 10 times higher than what you can earn at home. But to buy a ticket for this lottery, money isn't enough. You need to pay with education. You need a specific degree just to enter the game. We don't just have to guess about this. We can look at the data. In a landmark study, economists analyzed a phenomenon in the Philippines during the early 2000s. Back then, the U.S. faced a critical nursing shortage and threw its visa doors open. Suddenly, thousands of young Filipinos saw a path to a better life. Motivated by that American dream, enrollment in nursing schools exploded. Families invested savings, and students studied harder, all hoping to grab that golden ticket. But here is the catch. The U.S. has a limit. There are only so many visas to go around. So what happens to everyone else? The data is incredible. For every one nurse who successfully got the visa and moved to the U.S., 9 additional nurses passed their licensure exams but stayed in the Philippines. These aren't failed migrants. They are fully trained, licensed professionals who are now staffing local hospitals. Because of the hope of leaving, the Philippines ended up with a massive surplus of talent it never would have trained otherwise. And while the Philippines is the most studied example, the economic logic suggests this brain gain effect is likely happening in developing nations across the globe, from software engineers in India to tech workers in Nigeria. Whenever the prize is big enough, the line to compete for it gets longer. And when that happens, the country sending the talent often ends up with more skilled people than it started with. Wait, pause for a second. Think about your own circle, friends, family, or neighbors. Do you know someone who studied hard specifically because they hoped to go abroad, but ended up staying and building a career at home instead? Let us know in the comments. This surplus of talent is a clear win for those who stay. But here is the other side of the coin. What about the ones who do leave? Do they just vanish? Hardly. They become economic lifelines. In 2024 alone, India received $129 billion in remittances, driven largely by skilled professionals working in the US and UK. And let's be clear, this isn't just money for TVs or consumer goods. Research from the University of Michigan proves that when migrant earnings go up, families back home specifically use that extra cash to pull children out of labor and keep them in school, raising educational spending by over 17%. They are funding the next generation from thousands of miles away. It's not just cash, though. it's knowledge. We used to think once an inventor left, their ideas left with them. But the data shows the opposite. Analysis of patent records reveals that Indian inventors working in the US act as a brain bank. They are 50% more likely to cite and build upon technology from back home compared to their peers. They aren't cutting ties. They are building a pipeline, sending technical know-how back to their colleagues in Bangalore or Hyderabad. But sending ideas back home is one thing. To actually build a modern economy, you need something that is much harder to get: capital. And this is where developing nations usually hit a wall. Developing nations don't just need charity, they need investment. But foreign investors are scared. They don't know the local laws, the culture, or who to trust. This is where the migrant becomes a trust bridge. A major World Bank study confirmed a staggering correlation. For every 1% increase in a country's skilled diaspora living abroad, foreign direct investment back into that country increases by nearly 0.5%. That is massive. Migrants are the ultimate ambassadors. They vouch for their home countries, unlocking capital that foreign aid could never match. But the ultimate proof isn't just money or trust moving across borders. It's when the people themselves come back to close the loop. Have you ever wondered why Taiwan is the world leader in semiconductors? It's not an accident. It's brain circulation. Decades ago, thousands of engineers left Taiwan to work in Silicon Valley. Critics called it a disaster, but then they started going back. Research from UC Berkeley reveals that migrants returning from the US founded nearly 30% of all companies in Taiwan's Hsinchu Science Park. They brought Silicon Valley culture, venture capital models, and advanced engineering back home. If they had never left, that industry and the chips in your smartphone might not exist today. Now, Taiwan gives us the clearest data, but it is likely just the tip of the iceberg. While we don't yet have the same decades of statistics for every developing nation, the economic signs are everywhere. From manufacturing in Vietnam to tech startups in Brazil, the pattern suggests this isn't an anomaly. The logic holds true. When talent circulates, it doesn't just subtract potential from a country, it multiplies it. So, does the accusation that the brain drain of smart immigrants impoverishes other countries hold up? The verdict: that is completely false. The reality is that most of the talent doesn't even leave. They stay and build the surplus. And for those who do go, they generate a current of money, trust, and innovation that flows back stronger than before. As attorney Chris M. Ingram says, the so-called brain drain is actually a brain gain for all, as immigrants bridge worlds, sending knowledge and resources that empower their homelands while enriching America's innovation ecosystem. In this video series, attorney Chris M. Ingram and his team are debunking false narratives to raise awareness about the positive impact immigrants have always had on making America great. We'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below, so stay tuned for our next video where we take on another immigration myth.